Back when I was a kid, moving into my tween years, G.I. Joe was one of the biggest things for me. I love G.I. Joe figures. They were even cooler than Star Wars, which dominated my childhood. Reason why? So much more detail. And one of my favorite characters to come from that time was a survivalist named Outback. And he was cool. He had, green, army green pants. He had a white t-shirt that said survival across it. And he had, reddish hair with the red beard and mustache. And and the headband, the headband was key. And he was just such a cool figure. And he went on every mission that I took G.I. Joes on. And, years passed, and G.I. Joe Classified was launched by Hasbro, what about like 2018, I think? 2019? I don't know when it was exactly. And around 2022, they launched an update to the Outback character. They didn't start with the original one with the white t-shirt that said survival and then the red hair and red beard. They came out with a Tiger Force version of him first. And that was an exclusive through Target at the time. And what was different about him was that he didn't have the white shirt with survival and the red hair. They flipped the colors. They gave him an orange shirt that had a giant tiger logo on it. And they gave him white hair and beard, made him a silver fox, basically. Let's be honest, that's what he was. And they put this figure out there. It's based on a 1990 redesign of the original Outback figure. But this is him. And I had to get him because he's cool. You can't really see the shirt under there because I put a scarf that came with Stalker on him just to kind of spice it up a little bit. And he's a great figure. I love him. I always have. I always will. He remains my favorite G.I. Joe. And being an older guy now who, if I actually grew out my hair, it would probably be this color, and my beard is definitely this color, I relate to this version a lot better, let's be honest. Anyway, a couple weeks ago, actually not even that long ago, maybe a little over a week ago, ManOrMonster Studio, which makes Glios toys, announced a couple new figures and a couple new accessory kits. And one of those new figures they were dubbing Pilgrim. And I looked at it and I'm like, this figure, although he had this weird kind of knight's head in the default photo, had an orange shirt that had a tiger on it, which was a variation tiger logo from the Tiger Force one. But it's a version that I've seen before on Etsy when I looked up Tiger Force t-shirts. When you go into the listing a little bit deeper, you saw that he came with an alternate head that had white hair, white beard, and a headband. It's Outback as a Glios figure. I mean, come on, I had to get him. And he arrived today.
Right out of the bag, this is how he looks. He's got the Tiger Force alternate t-shirt that I was telling you about. He definitely has the Outback head, and you can see a little bit of bandana under there. The paint ops on the face are actually really nice. They did a good job with the eyes. They did a good job with the bandana underneath the hair. And even, little places like that, that little nook up there where his hair's cut in, you can see his eyebrow, and then up above the eyebrow, you can still see a little bit of flesh tone instead of them just generically painting it all white. It's really nicely done. Like most of my figures of this scale, he's got, cut head, 2 cut shoulders, cut forearm above the wrist guard, cut waist, cut thighs, and cut lower leg right above the boot. And that amounts to 10 points of articulation if my counting can be trusted. Anyway, let's look at some of these accessories. Got this cool little fur stole, mink, I don't know what to call it. And it's got a band that I assume goes around the waist to secure it in place a little better. Pilgrim himself came with this battle axe. This is the only weapon he comes with. I believe this was a Pilgrim default head. I think this was on the listing page. of the website, and I think maybe the Triceratops head came with them too. Everything else here is part of the accessory kit, including this gargoyle-ish head, knight's helmet, and this ogre-looking head, the shield with handle, morning star, and short sword. Well, at this size, this is actually probably a broadsword. But all those came with the Pilgrim accessory kit. And with that accessory kit only costing $5, that ain't bad at all. Let's pop some pieces on here, see how it looks. Yep, that band fits right around his waist perfectly. Put the legs back on. And I'm assuming that this is the right way for it to go on because it's got this head at the front of it, which I don't think you'd want on the back. Although when you think about his hair on here, it seems more logical for the hair to drape down into more of an open air space like here, as opposed to overlapping the fur. But this is how he looks with that. I'm not sure that this figure, this particular head looks good with this piece, but let's try. Make an Outback go medieval. Give him a shield. Give him this amazing morning star. I think the morning star is what sold me on the Pilgrim accessory kit. I just realized something. This isn't like a Roman helmet brush. I think that's actually supposed to be Outback's hair popping through the top of the helmet. That's interesting. It's a choice. I'll dig it. I do want to see one other head on here real quickly. There's something very Purge about this figure right now. Looks like he's wearing one of the masks from the Purge. He's got weapons and looks very urban chic, suburban chic. I think most Purge takes place in cities and suburbs, right? Well, last time I checked, they still had them on the website. So if you're interested, go grab one. He's inexpensive and he's cool. This is very Toy Story right now. We got Combat Carl and Combat Carl Jr. Actually, I think this would be Combat Stuart. I think his name was Stuart Selkirk. So, if you get one of these, let me know what you think. Go check it out. Seriously, they're fun. So say what you want about my goofy little minifigures. I love the guys. I think that they are just a lot of fun and they're easier to use as pocket figures. That's the key for me. Pretty much anytime I go out, I've got a figure with me in case I want to take some kind of photo or I see some kind of cool situation where I can add a figure to it and take a photo. I like having smaller scale figures like this because I feel like they work a lot better as pocket figures, and he's just going to be a lot of fun. So enjoy. I hope you enjoy. Maybe you'll go out and get one. Check it out. Let me know what you think.